Okay, hello everyone. In this segment, I want to cover blood lab work. I really feel like this is a vitally important topic, and I suggest that everyone go down this path in order to, more important than anything else, optimize your health. And secondly, because it'll help you lose weight and lose fat. Now, quick disclaimer, obviously, I am not an MD. I am not telling you to specifically follow my advice. I'm not giving you medical advice. Check everything that I say with your physician, hopefully your integrative medicine physician, and I'm going to explain that in a second. So what I'm giving you is our experience at Team Apollon in working now for 2 years with an integrative medicine doctor, getting our labs done once every 6 months, so 2 times a year, and how it has changed our lifestyle when it comes to nutrition and exercise and supplements that we take. Okay, and I want to share all of that now, 2 years of knowledge with you, and bring it to you so that then again you can optimize yourself. So let me start by saying this. Blood work. It drives me a little crazy when people say, why do I need to get my blood checked? Well, let me give you this analogy. You have fluids, right? In your body, blood, you have blood, and you have fluids in your car. You check your car's oil level, or the little light goes off to tell you when to check the oil, or you need your oil changed. Windshield wiper fluid and all the fluids in the car, we tend to check those on a fairly regular basis, at least I hope you do, right? Because you want your car to run efficiently and you want your car to run optimally. So we take such good care of the fluids in our car, yet fail to check the fluids, primarily blood, in our body. It just doesn't make sense to me. So let's start taking care of our bodies. Let's really take a deep dive inside. I say that the blood work, getting your blood work, is like getting an X-ray of your health, meaning I feel healthy, I look healthy, I walk around feeling energetic, lots of energy, high libido, all these things. My skin is healthy. But how do I really know? Let's see what's going on at the biology level, the cellular level, and obviously doing that through the blood is the telltale sign, all right? And so I hope you all can see this. So that is, why is it important, okay? It's important because it's your blood, like that's your health, okay? I'm jumping down here. I hope you guys can read okay. What exactly is checked? So people will say, okay, I get it. I should get my blood checked. Well, what are they going to check? First, I want to say that when you go to an integrative medicine doctor, what is checked is a lot deeper than what you would just get at a general physical exam. Like if you went for an annual physical, where they check, your blood lipid profile, your blood sugar, maybe a couple of other things, but they don't really take this massive deep dive into your biology and into your chemistry. So it's a lot deeper when you go to an integrative medicine specialist. So they'll do the normal, really important things like your hematology, your red blood cell count, your white blood cell count, that type of stuff. Do a full lipid panel, obviously checking triglycerides, HDL ratios, and all of these important things. But then we get into some of the fun stuff, and some of that fun stuff is your inflammation, for example, using that. So looking at your inflammatory markers in your blood, one of which is called CRP. And so let's think about dementia for a moment, Alzheimer's for a moment. We know that chronic inflammation, not acute. So if I cut my finger and it gets all red and swollen, that's good. That's my body's defense mechanism kicking in to make sure the area doesn't get infected. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about chronic inflammation over years. And we have now learned in the study of Alzheimer's and the different dementias, that chronic inflammation is one of the main things. It's not genetics, although it has maybe something to do with it, but it's the food we put in our mouth, it's the air that we breathe, it's the stress that we have, it's all of these things like compounding interest over the course of many, many, many years that leads to dementia down the line. So one of the things we could do is look at the CRP, which your integrative medicine doctor can do with you, is look at your CRP levels and see if you have high inflammation, for example, in the body, and then identify what is it in your environment. Remember, your environment, again, is the food you eat, how you sleep, if you sleep enough, do you get enough exercise, what's the stress like? You look at all of these different things in your life to lower that inflammatory marker, which we then believe, at least the research is beginning to show more and more, that then is going to lower your risk for the dementias later on in life. Okay. I just, for example, and I'm sure you've all heard of stories like this. I was just spending some time right before I shot this video with the next door neighbor. They're from Italy. They're old world people. The husband is 83. She's 83. And his sister just died. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. And it turns out, he said, well, it's better off. I said, well, what was wrong? Blah, blah, blah. We're talking. And she made it to 97 years old. So I was like, wow, 97, that's great. And he said, well, not really, because the last 5 years she had Alzheimer's, which means if she had Alzheimer's for the last 5 years, it started way before that. And for the 5 years, she didn't know who anybody was. She didn't know who her husband was. She didn't know who her kids were. She didn't know who her grandkids are. When we talk about longevity, that's not how we want to go out. Okay. And more, again, I can't repeat it enough, more and more, the research is showing that our environment in our 20s and 30s, way earlier than we thought, 20s and 30s, and certainly 40s and 50s, our environment has a lot to do with whether or not we are going to suffer from the dementias later on in life. Okay. Some other things that are checked, your diabetes. So diabetes is even a greater killer than the dementias. So you certainly want to check all of the diabetes markers. That'll certainly be checked with your integrative medicine specialist. And then your hormones. Okay, we've talked obviously about hormones and just how important they are in the body. I'm not going to do a whole deep dive into that in this section, but it'll check testosterone, estrogen, estradiol. Estrogen is important for men, believe it or not. And there's a right zone. And your doctor will go over that with you. And if need be, optimize that through TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy, or hormone replacement therapy. Check your thyroid, do all of your hormone markers and make sure everything is balanced. And by the way, when I say thyroid, in most cases with integrative medicine, they're probably not going to prescribe you hard pharmaceuticals, toxic pharmaceuticals from big pharma. I'm talking about the utilization of better environment, like start with sleep. It starts there. You want to optimize your thyroid? Sleep more, sleep deeper, get more REM sleep. How do you do that? Well, that I can teach you how to do, okay? The doctor will, in conjunction with your human performance coach, such as myself, okay, will teach you how to optimize your sleep, help you to optimize your sleep through things like use of CBD, making sure your room is dark, all of these things that Jilly covered in the sleep section of this video. And then peptides, right? There are now peptides that can help us to stimulate the thyroid naturally. Supplements like CBD and hemp oil that can all help with this. And here's another one that's really important: metals and minerals, toxicity. Aside from inflammation, well, toxicity causes inflammation and so forth. Even things like, so if, for example, if you had high aluminum, well, where's the aluminum coming from? And believe it or not, it could be some of the cookware that you're using. Dr. Greger in nutritionfacts.org just did a really cool thing on that. You can go to nutritionfacts.org and search for metals and alloys. And he went over a whole thing of cooking utensils that we use. What's best? Stainless steel. Is cooking in aluminum pots bad for us? How about just using what we call tin foil, right? Cooking with tin foil, is that toxic? Is that going to show up in our blood report? At what levels and so forth? So all of this stuff gets covered, and you then can really optimize everything once you do this. So that's the what is checked portion. Okay, so we had the why is it important? It's important because it's your blood, it's your body. You need to check this like they check the oil in your car. All right, the what is checked part. And now let's talk about how. Okay, so I've been throwing this term around, integrative medicine. So it is a doctor that is board certified now in anti-aging, okay, in restorative medicine. Dr. Bacciarelli here in New York is one. He's our friend and who we see on a regular basis. He's phenomenal. And integrative, just think of what the word. So integrative means that they're going to integrate things like your vitamins, your supplements, your nutrition, your exercise, and your peptides. Just to give you an example, there's more to it than that. So we have your blood work, right? And then we get that blood work and we go over it with the doctor. Obviously, with your permission, you go over it with me as well. I communicate with the doctor, for example, and then we integrate your vitamins, your supplements, your nutrition, your exercise, your peptides. What integration do you need in order to optimize your health, lose weight, lose fat? Okay, so all of these things come together in a plan that is specific to you, the individual. There's a term N1, N, the letter N as in Nancy, one, the number one, study of one. Each and every one of you is a separate individual study of one. That's why the broad brush stroke of, oh, I was at the gym the other day and so-and-so, a buddy of mine, he's in really good shape and he takes fish oil. I think I'll start taking fish oil. Okay. Or my neighbor takes vitamin C, or so-and-so said that I should take, collagen proteins. It's not buckshot like that. It's not random like that. It's not because someone else is taking it that you should take it. I get the question all the time, Coach, what supplements should I take? And I'm just like, I have no idea. Have you had your blood work done? I mean, I don't even know what your goals are. What supplements should you take? I can't tell you what I take, or I can tell you, but that doesn't mean that they're good for you, because all of the supplements that I take and that Jilly takes is based off of my lab work. So I take some things that Jilly doesn't take and vice versa, because we're two different individuals. Yes, some stuff is the same, okay? But a lot of the stuff is, she takes this because of her blood work. I take this because of my blood work. So I could tell you what I take, but that's not going to help you. We need to study you, and then we can steer you in the right direction with the help of an integrative medicine doctor to get the best version of yourself. Okay. So then it is, well, can I just go to my regular doctor, my internist, my GP, my general practitioner for this? And the answer is 99% of the time, no. Because the general physicians are not there for this kind of stuff. They haven't been trained in it. A lot of them, frankly, telling you up front, don't believe in it, because it's a little integrative. It's a little mixture of East meets West and so forth. And remember, they've been trained like, if you get sick, go to them. If you have the flu, if you got pneumonia, if you're going to go see your doctor when you're sick, not necessarily to say, Doc, I feel so good. What do I do next? What's next for me? What's next? Okay. And so you're going to not give up your general practitioner. Okay. Nobody's saying that you keep your family doctor, keep your general practitioner. And they're there for, if you have an emergency or if you get sick, but ultimately you're not going to go to your integrative medicine doctor if you have a cold. Like, don't call him or her up if you have a cold. That's not what they're there for. It's health and wellness versus, I got sick and so forth. So that's the difference there. So just, I want to tell you, then the next question following that is always, well, does my insurance cover this? Generally speaking, an integrative medicine doctor is cash. They don't accept insurance, because frankly, a lot of what they do is, the insurance companies are like, well, what's the diagnosis? Are they sick? No, they're not sick. They're just trying to be healthier. Oh, we don't cover health. We only cover if you're sick. It's crazy, but that's the healthcare system, right? So generally they're cash, but your blood lab work will be covered by insurance. And you'll have to figure that out, with your insurance company, and with your doctor. Because also, let me explain, with us anyway, from our integrative medicine doctor, we get in essence a menu, and we'll go over, do we want to check hemoglobin? Do we want to check all the, the lipid profiles? And you'll go through that, what he or she thinks you should check, plus what we want to check, hormones, etc. So it's almost like you fill out a little menu sheet of blood analysis, what they think you should check, plus, what you want to check, and then you got to see if it's covered, by your insurance company. Because the blood lab work is just way too expensive for anybody to pay out of pocket. So you need to have your insurance for that, and that piece is covered. You just have to make sure you go over that with your doctor first, okay? So I just want to do a quick summary here for us. So blood work in this segment, what does it have to do with fat loss? So in essence, I'm going to take you down a little path. We're going to do a separate video on this. So at the end, and sort of a wrap up conclusion, but you're going to get your blood drawn, you go over your goals, take into account things like your current body weight, your goal body weight. And then once we get the blood drawn and you've gone over it with your integrative medicine doctor, so you have your blood draw, you get your results back, and then it's decision time, okay? So here we have your age, your goals, your current weight, your goal weight. Here's what your blood lab says. Now we're going to integrate all of these things. We're going to integrate your vitamins, your supplements, your nutrition, your exercise, your peptides, so that 6 months from now, you should have lost X number of pounds, and all those blood biomarkers that might have been red, that are like out of whack, like, your LDL was too high and your HDL was too low. So they're marked red, like red flags on the sheet. Now they're both where they should be, because you've used integrative approach to health and wellness. And, oh, by the way, because you're healthier, you lost X number of pounds. Okay, so I hope that explains how it works here. So you don't have to get blood work. I highly, highly recommend that you do. I highly recommend, when you're using a coach such as myself, let me work with your integrative medicine doctor. When you put the two together, hey, you're going to have one healthy, vibrant, kick-ass life. Awesome.